All right, so we are comparing decimals and fractions here. And the first thing they're going to ask you is to decide what's larger, 8/10 or 73/100. And say what you think, but really, you're going to draw those down here so you can actually see which one is bigger. Now, 8/10 means 8 out of 10. So there are 10 rows here. So I need to color in 8 out of 10 rows. And then that is my 8/10 there. And over here we have 73/100. So now I'm coloring each little box of hundredths, but I can still do 7 rows first. And then just add 3 more. So once you've done that, you'll see which one is bigger. You'll have the answer there. And then we can write those as a decimal. So this one will have simply 2 digits after the decimal. And over here, because we're working with tenths, we only need the tens place. So what goes, how many tenths are there? And hopefully you can figure that one out. And this one is just asking you to choose something between 75/100 and 8/10. So fill in one and then a different one. They're going to be very close to being the same number, right? You have a few choices, 76, 77, 78, 79. And then compare them, but I think that shouldn't be too tough. And then over here, you're writing these numbers as decimals. So just note the and here is where the decimal would be. So these are whole numbers. So you would have 2 and something, and then 1 and something, but be very careful. This says 6 hundredths. The hundreds place is there, and that's where your 6 hundredths would go, and then you just fill in this with a 0, and you'll be good there. And then same idea with the and here. So write that it would be 2 and just remember this would be with 2 digits after the decimal, hundredths with the THS. Now for the these greater than and less than and equal to, again, imagine what that would look like here, right? If you have 8/10, it looks like this, and 78/100, which one would be bigger? 56/100 versus 6/10, what would be bigger? And then 6/10 and 60/100. That's an interesting one. I'll let you try to figure that one out. Allison says 1 and 6/100 is bigger than 1 and 2/10 because 6 is bigger than 2. Oh, Allison. Well, I think we can figure this out. Just draw it like we had before. There's 1 whole and 6 little hundredths versus 1 and 2 whole tenths. So which one is bigger? And explain why you agree with Allison or disagree with Allison. Same idea here. Eric is 4 feet tall, 4 and 23/100. Stacy is 4 and 3/10. They're both 4 feet. So you're basically trying to figure out 23/100 or 3/10. What is larger? And then we have a challenge. Okay, 1 year ago, Charlie's chameleon was 8 and 42/100 inches long. Now his chameleon is 9 and 36 inches long. How much did Charlie's chameleon grow? You're figuring out the difference here. And let me just teach you, if you're doing decimals, just make sure the decimal is lined up first. Then you can just subtract like you normally would to find the difference, and that would be how many inches the difference is. But then how much more does his chameleon need to grow to be exactly 10 inches? Well, we have 10, and again, I'm going to put a decimal point there, and we need a difference again. So the decimal is lined up. So how do I do this? Well, after the decimal point, you can just fill in 0 tenths or 0 hundredths or 0 thousandths. It doesn't matter. Those zeros equal nothing after the decimal. So I can fill in like that. That is still 10 inches, and then figure out the difference there. So thank you, and goodbye.